Shalom to everyone. Last week we contrasted the sin of the Egel Hazav, the golden calf, a sin done with unity, with the sin of the spies, where the sin was every person for themselves, done with a personal agenda. And the second sin, the sin of the spies, was the root of the destruction of our temples. So let's examine how Chazal understood the causes of the two destructions. So the famous Gemara in Yuma teaches, Mipnei Machar, of why were the temples destroyed. So the first one was destroyed, Mipnei Shlosha Dvarim Shahayuba, there were three cardinal sins, Avodah Zarah, idol worship, Gilui Arayos, sexual promiscuity, and Shvichus Damim, murder. Aval Mikdash Sheni, but the second temple, why was it destroyed? Shahayu Oskin b'Torah u'v'mitzvos u'v'gmilus chasadim. They were involved in Torah study, in a mitzvah performance, and even in gmilut chasadim, and acts of kindness. Why was it studied? Why was it destroyed? Says the Gemara, because of sinat chinam shahayuba. And then the Gemara says to teach you that sinat chinam is equated with all of the sins. Now this is quite a difficult concept to understand, and we're going to explore it a little bit in depth. First, we need to get an accurate definition of sinat chinam, and first we need to understand what is sin'ah. So the classic definition is hatred, and the Malbim directs us in another way. He said that hatred is enmity, which is really the word of oyev, and the difference between enmity, oyev, and sinah, which we're not going to define as hatred, but we're going to define as distancing. So an oyev, an enemy, you want to destroy them, and there is an enmity about it. Whereas sin'ah, which is really implying a distance, so that is something that is emotional, it's in your heart, and you're not looking to destroy the other person, you just want to be distanced from him. And in fact, we find the word soneh used in Tanakh in positive ways. God is called a soneh gezo. So we're encouraged to be soneh betza. Hatred or distancing, really, from theft, from bribery. So sinah means a distance, and we have to know that it doesn't mean necessarily to fight somebody, but it means something is wrong and I want a distance from them. So now what is the opposite of, what does sinat chinam mean? And what is its opposite? So sinat chinam means I'm distancing for no reason. What's the opposite? So the classic way out on the street is, well, the opposite of sinat chinam is avat chinam. And I'd like to take issue with that and show that that's not a correct understanding. Because whenever you have a phrase and you want to know its opposite, you don't take the noun and turn it around, you take the adjective and turn it around. The opposite of free parking is not free flying, because parking is the noun and free is the adjective. So the opposite of free parking is paid parking. Well, in sinat chinam, so the noun is sin'ah and the adjective is chinam, and therefore the opposite of it is going to be sinat sachar. There's a sin'ah that is correct, that has benefit. What kind of sin'ah could have benefit? When it's appropriate. So sinat chinam is baseless hatred. There's no reason for it. It's clearly indicated in the continuation of the Gemara, because the Gemara says that the first temple was destroyed where the sins were obvious, so the exile, the galut, was also made known. That just as the sin was public, so God informed the Jewish people that they're going into exile for 70 years. But the second temple, where it says the sin was hidden, it was not obvious, because it was belev, it was in the heart, so the exile, the length of the exile was also not revealed. Notice that it doesn't say that the first exile was 70 years and the second exile was going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Revealing the end, as long as it's going to be, makes the exile less difficult to endure than entering an exile not knowing where it's going to end. If you can imagine driving to a destination on a dark road before the days of Waze, where you knew where you're going, but you had no idea how long it's going to take. And you're following the directions, and you're eventually getting there. But it seemed like a long, long time while you were looking for the correct turn and the correct street. On the way home, it's exactly the same distance and it's going to take exactly the same amount of time. But since you know where you're going and how long it's going to take, it appears much shorter. So the exile that sent us in without telling us how long it's going to be, that was a more serious, more difficult exile. And that was the exile of the second temple, where the sin was not revealed. The sin was sinat chinam, it was in the heart, and it did not appear that it was so bad because they were learning Torah, they were doing mitzvos, and they were even doing gemilut chasadim. How is it possible that there's sinat chinam that coexists with gemilut chasadim? And the answer is, sinat chinam means that I'm distancing myself from you for no reason. Why am I doing it? Simply because you're different than me. I want everyone to do it my way, and it's the result of ego, which takes us back to the sin of the spies. Every person or every group is only interested in themselves. So you could have gemilut chasadim with sinat chinam, because I'm distanced from every group except my group. And the gemilut chasadim exists within my group, and yet the sinat chinam, the distance for no reason, no justified reason, can also exist. When the gemilut chasadim is limited to my group, then that is the foundation for the destruction of the second temple, because the Jewish people have become completely fragmented. This is what went on in the second temple. We don't have the Beit HaMikdash today, which means it's still going on today. Next week we're going to talk a little more about the root causes and the solutions for such a serious problem.